everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a movie that was made, finished, whatever, in 2007. It didn't get a release until 2009. It did not go to theaters at the time. It just apparently went straight to video. And my family rented this the weekend that it came out on video. And I watched it the one time, aside from just the other week when I watched it pre-Halloween, which, by the way, this is a review after Halloween. I'm sorry, but I'll get to that in a moment. This is the second time I've ever seen this movie. I got a copy last year for Black Friday from my mom. Well, I guess for Christmas from my mom, that she bought on Black Friday. And anyway, so this movie here, I saw one time on release weekend on DVD and absolutely hated it. And I wanted to give it another shot before Halloween this year in 2023. So I sat down, I brought out the copy when I was moving, and decided to watch it. And that movie is Trick or Treat, from Michael Dougherty, who also made the amazing Krampus movie that I think is better than this. He wrote and directed this movie, but Krampus is just amazing. It's like Christmas Vacation with a monster involved. I love it. It's fucking amazing. But Trick or Treat here has become massively a tradition for many people. When it comes to October or Halloween time, everybody raves about this movie. And even if you go to something like Walmart or Spirit Halloween stores here in the US, now they have trick-or-treat stuff everywhere, especially at Spirit Halloween. And that got old real quick to me because I never understood the appeal to this movie. And after seeing it this time around, I understand some of the appeal. I do. And I love Halloween time. I love the fall. This being a pre or post Halloween review because it was last week and I missed it. I watched this like 3 weeks ago before I moved, like I said. And I gotta tell you, this being the second time I've ever seen this movie, I still don't like it. I'm sorry. I love horror. I love Halloween. I love anthologies. And that's what this movie is. All three of those things compiled into one. It has slasher elements. It has short stories that are all written for the screen here. And it has a solid budget and amazing talent behind the budget, like Michael Dougherty doing the directing and the writing. And I expected a lot more. Going back to this, seeing what he could do with Krampus and things he's worked on recently, Michael Dougherty is an incredible talent, as I said. And going back, I was hoping I would be proven wrong. But this movie sucks. I don't care what anybody says. It's very well made. Very, very well made. Very well executed. It's the stories in the anthology. I love anthologies. I'm a massive fan, of Twilight Zone, Tales from the Dark Side, episodic shows like X-Files that still kind of count but aren't standalone stories per episode, depending on how you view it, but whatever. But then you have movies like Creepshow that really kind of pushed for that whole thing too, and Trick or Treat is a movie being more in the vein of that, and it's so popular now they're even talking about making a sequel in the next couple of years, and I just could not give less of a shit, because Trick or Treat I just don't think is that good. I'm not even a big Creepshow movie fan. I like the TV series more of Creepshow, and I think that the Creepshow movie I think is better than this. I think Creepshow 2 is better than this. I haven't seen 3. I've heard that's horrible and unwatchable by a lot of my friends, so I don't know about that one. But Trick or Treat, again, beautifully written, well, shot is what I meant, beautifully shot, camera work is incredible, and that's kind of it when it comes to the execution of the movie. Where do I even start with this? It's a bunch of short stories in an anthology into one movie that all kind of tie together. You might be watching one segment, short, whatever, that kind of cut in and out of each other. You know, you don't just have one story and then you go to the next one. You don't really do that here. But they kind of interchange amongst each other. And you might see characters in the background or characters in the forefront from another story. You might hear ties or references like on a radio station to something that happened, 30 minutes ago in the movie. It's kind of cool in that regard. I kind of respect it in that regard. That's where the good execution stuff comes from for me. It's everything else that I have an issue with. But the production value here, the budget behind it, clearly people cared enough to make something that people clearly love. I don't understand the appeal. Frankly, I'd rather watch Halloween Town or the newest Tales of Halloween movie that came out a few years ago that's also an anthology movie. I think Tales of Halloween is better than Trick or Treat, and I will stand on that hill until the day I die. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Very controversial opinion, but you deserve it, because it's my honest opinion. I've seen that movie at least 4 times now. I love it more than this, a lot more. Anyway, let's talk about Trick or Treat. I guess I'll go through the the different pictures here around the character Sam here and talk about those short stories very quickly. Not rate them or anything, I'll just save them all and compile them into one rating at the end of the video, but we'll start off with the first kind of story. First and foremost, we have a husband and wife who just finished up a Halloween party trip or something. They just got home. The wife wants him to take down all the decorations, and he just kind of wants to go home or go inside the house and start up a tape or something he talked about, and some other things. Just some Halloween traditions he always does. She tries to tell him, no, you're going to be lazy and forget to take the decorations down. It's going to look dumb. And she eventually gives in. He goes back inside the house, and she begins to take decorations down when she gets attacked by something in her front yard. Husband comes out, and that's pretty much all I want to tell you. That's like the cold open of the movie. It's like 5 minutes long. And then we go to the next story. The next story in here, I don't want to tell them to you in order. I don't really think I know all of them in order for that matter. It's been a few weeks, like I said. Just kind of covering tracks on all the reviews I'm doing right now of things I've watched recently that I really want to talk about with you guys. So I guess the next story we'll talk about is one that might be one of the better ones, like the second best in the entire movie for me. And it's basically about a chubby, short kid, a young kid, going around house to house on Halloween. He's not really a good kid or a bad kid per se, but he goes to a guy's house that I believe they said was either the principal or like the vice principal or a teacher or something at his school, played by Dylan Baker. And things go a little bit fucky, if you will. Things get a little messed up. This teacher and this kid have a conversation that goes in a very interesting direction. This movie overall has a big sense of humor. I don't know if I think it always lands. It might land a lot better for other people, so I don't want to say it fails. I really don't think it fails. I think it just doesn't land for me, which is odd. Which is a very strange thing, because I'm a big Three Stooges, slapstick, Abbott and Costello type of fan, so you think I would love this type of sense of humor for this comedy? Not really. I don't know what it is about Trick or Treat that just rubs me the wrong way every time I've seen it, out of the 2 times I've seen it. But I just don't like the humor in here. It just doesn't land for me. And going into this, I'd forgotten the majority of this movie, and I don't think I could sit through it again. I don't think if you paid me right now, I don't think I could sit down and watch this again. I don't understand the love, the appeal for it, aside from the beautiful filmmaking, the beautiful fall and Halloween night that it captures in this film. But aside from that, there ain't much. Moving along to the next short there's a next door neighbor to that Dylan Baker, principal, teacher, whatever he is, character, who has something in his house. And that's this little fella right here named Sam with his little bag head mask. I love Sam. Sam is the icon of this film. That segment of this neighbor fighting this thing in his house is the best segment of the entire movie. It's phenomenal. It's one of the last things that happen in the entire film, but I love it. It is absolutely excellent. I mean that. Then you have another story that's kind of not really a story. It's just kind of there. It kind of ties into some other stuff later on of a guy who's walking around on Halloween night at like a Mardi Gras type of party, and he's wearing a black hood and a black mask, and he has like vampire fangs, and he may or may not be a vampire, biting random women, sucking their blood, and that's it. And that ties into something else later on, like I said. Then you have a story about Anna Paquin, who played a rogue in X-Men, and she's a good actress. She's the only person I know in this film, aside from Dylan Baker. I knew his name from IMDb, but she's the only person I actively know from my childhood, or somebody that I saw in things all the time. I think she was in True Blood as well. Anna Paquin is dressing up with her friends for Halloween night to go to this big party. She's looking for a date. She hasn't really been able to find one, and she has to go dressed up as Little Red Riding Hood. Her friends go dressed up as like different princesses, like Cinderella and stuff like that. Old folklore, urban legend, myths, and that kind of thing. It's kind of cool in that regard as a friendship deal. The direction that story goes is very ironic. And again, the humor there, in that irony, just doesn't work for me. I don't know what it is about it that I don't like. It just, again, it rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. Just not a fan of it. Just never have been in the old time when I watched it on release weekend on DVD, or now when I saw it for the second time. I don't like that segment. It's one of the worst in here in my opinion. And then we have another story in here about, I think it was 3 or 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, that happened to I think it was 4 girls, or 2 boys, 2 girls, something like that. But they go to a younger girl's house who's kind of not all there. She's dressed up like a witch, and they think she's a little dumb. And they take her with them to go out to this creepy kind of area where apparently a bus driver had accidentally murdered a bunch of students that were mentally challenged, if you want to call them that. And it's like a cliff with an elevator and stuff. This whole urban legend built around this part of the town. It's really engrossing at first. I really like it at first. And then by the time you get to the end of that particular portion of the movie, you lost me. You lost me. I don't like the direction it takes. I feel like it's a little too wannabe Goonies, but not in a good way. The movie doesn't really have anything frightening or scary about it, nothing really super appealing in that respect, aside from Sam, the little fella on the front cover here. But that's kind of it with this movie. It wasn't 5 or 6 separate stories like a Creepshow type of film that has like 2 or 3. It's more of like everything is intertwined. And I think people love that about this movie. I'm not really sure why, but it seems like people do. It seems like most people are really hardcore fans. I don't, again, understand what my deal is, but I just don't like it. Just don't like it, pretty much. I think I covered all the grounds here about plot for plot, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, with that being said, beautifully shot movie. I'm trying to give some pluses out there. Really good music for what they had in this film. The editing is choppy as shit, especially in the Anna Paquin storyline. It is a fucking mess of a movie, and I still stand by that. I know a lot of people are diehards about this. The fact that there's so much merchandising out there to this day is insane to me, that people are so in love with this movie. But while I don't get it, I kind of get it. You know? There's a love for this. And I think a lot of it has to do with the view of it looking so, again, like the fall, like October, like Halloween. It really captures that well. But aside from that, I don't think the writing is very strong, which is crazy because of Krampus. I think that Michael Dougherty also wrote that. That's an excellent film. Again, Christmas Vacation with a monster, essentially. Love Krampus. Absolutely love it. This, I just don't see the appeal. Even little references here and there to old stuff that I love, it just doesn't click. I just don't think it's that unique. I don't think it's that good. Again, I would argue that Tales of Halloween, being a lower looking budget movie than this, with more directors involved, I think I like that movie way, way, way more than I like Trick or Treat. It's just how I feel, man, if I'm being honest with you. But aside from that, I don't have anything else to say about Trick or Treat. It has a lot of great qualities. The cinematography, so many things I mentioned already. It really works on that regard. But too many things about it just don't click, and I just don't understand the obsession. I just don't. For me, this is a very mediocre film, sometimes underneath average when it comes to the plots, the stories themselves, the pacing on them, the choppy editing really affects all of that. But it has good things in it that I can appreciate for sure. I just think this is the most overrated shit I've ever seen in my life. And I think it's kind of bad, if I'm being honest with you, like I said earlier. But aside from that, I don't think it's like the quintessential Halloween film like it happens to say here on this stupid-ass quote on the back of the box. That's a bunch of bullshit. Halloween Town is more prevalent than you, I would say. But with that, all of my ranting, my rambling, whatever, Trick or Treat from 2007 or 2009, whatever you like to call it, I'm not down for it. I'm just not into it. I don't get it. But if you happen to love it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments and defenses for it down in the comment section down below. Be civil. Don't be an asshole. That's all I ask. If I had to rate this film, Trick or Treat, on a 5-star basis, I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. I almost went into a 2 because of how little I like about it and how little I like most of the plots in here. But the 2 that I really enjoy, the teacher-student conversation, and then the number 1 being the neighbor fighting Sam, those are fantastic for what they are, for the most part. But I wish the humor was better. I don't know. Trick or Treat's a mess, in my personal opinion, and I think, again, Krampus is a way better movie for Michael Dougherty. What a talented guy. He's come a long way, man, and he deserves every bit of his success because of how incredibly talented he is. But this shit ain't proof of that, in my personal opinion. Anyway, all that being said, what do you think about Trick or Treat? I know I'm a few days past Halloween reviewing this, but I'd still like to hear everything you have to say about it down in the comment section down below. Let me know everything you think, everything you thought back in the day when you saw this for the first time ever. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know everything. Anyway, is this the fuck, let me try that again. Is this the quintessential Halloween movie to you? I want to know that especially too. Is this the one you look forward to more than anything to watch each and every year? I just don't see it. But I would love to hear if it is, for that matter. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching my review of Trick or Treat. Thank you all for being here. God bless you. I hope you had a great Halloween, and now I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving when that comes here. God bless you all. Goodbye.